This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. This hour, we've got some of our favorite conversations with movie makers behind some recent films. In a bit, we'll hear from Rashida Jones and Will McCormack about their new film, The Invite, which follows a struggling couple who invite their neighbors for a dinner party. And comedian John Early will discuss his directorial debut, Maddie's Secret. It follows a burgeoning food influencer's spiraling mental health. But first, a movie about eruptions of the heart. In the film Erupcja, directed by Pete Owes, Jeremy O. Harris plays Claude, a new friend to Bethany, played by Charlie XCX. Bethany's boyfriend has taken her on a trip where he plans to propose, but he doesn't realize her choice of location, Warsaw, is because of an old fling there named Nell. Here's a clip between Bethany and Nell. Nell speaks first.
So you are getting engaged?
I don't know. That's why I came.
And who is your boyfriend?
Rob.
Rob.
We lived together in London. I found a ring around a month ago, and I knew he was gonna ask me soon because he suggested we go to Paris, and I said, what about Warsaw? The thing is that with him, the earth doesn't shake and volcanoes don't erupt.
Erupcja was made collaboratively, co-written by its actors, Harris, Charlie XCX, Lena Gora, and Will Madden. When it came out back in September, director Pete Owes joined me here to talk about it, along with actor and co-writer Jeremy O. Harris. I started by asking Jeremy to explain the long history of collaboration between him and Pete.
I invited him to a feedback screening of my first feature, and he gave really good notes.
What kind of notes do you remember?
He said that autism is real. Which I love as a note. And that just became a friendship that happened sort of peripherally. We would cross paths. He produced a play in LA that I came to see. I also got to see Slave Play when it was off Broadway. And we would see each other at film festivals as we were both sort of making things in parallel. And then this beautiful moment came when I got a text message from this filmmaker, producer, director, Chris McCarble, who I had worked with, and he was producing the documentary about slave play that Jeremy was directing. Mm-hmm. And they said they were looking for an editor. And I texted back a picture of the ticket stub and playbill from when I had seen Slave Play 4 years earlier.
Oh, that's awesome. What attracted you to working with Pete as a collaborator? You can be friends, but then you have to take the next step is like, hey, do you want to work together?
No, I mean, I was really nervous. I mean, it was really cool that this person that had been like a peripheral friend, like we weren't like super close after we met at South by. We met and we enjoyed each other's company and we had a couple good hangs, but I went immediately into grad school and locked down. And so people I knew from my LA life, from my life as a film critic, I sort of put in a different box and was trying to build out this life as a playwright. And when this opportunity came back around to work with Pete, I didn't know how akin we were, how alike our sensibilities were until we were sitting in front of the edit bay and I would say, well, what if the color was blue would come out of his mouth? And it was like we shared one mind, you know? And he also gave me permission, a permission that I felt like I didn't have access to actually have fun, to play in making a movie, because I think that the joy of play, the joy of discovery and creativity was the engine inside of all the things I was doing before I went to grad school. But then the minute I became professionalized, that sense that I had the license to play, it felt like that license got revoked. And he reminded me that for an artist, that license is never revoked, or it shouldn't be.
How would you describe that sensibility that the two of you share, Peter? Do you like Pete or Peter?
I like Pete.
Okay, thanks.
All good. I respond to both. I was born Peter. Gosh, it goes in all different directions. We definitely have a similar sense of humor. We also are really different, but like he is a Gemini. I'm a Sagittarius. He believes in the astrology. I don't. But all these things are like complement each other so well. And I think we just both have a desire to subvert, a desire to challenge systems, a desire to ask big questions with confidence, and to not be afraid of moving towards the unknown, to want to know what's underneath that rock when you lift it up. And to have a person who is thinking that way and is to, fear is so human. It's like we feel that. And to look over at somebody else who is also feeling afraid, but it's not stopping them from moving forward, helps give me the confidence to keep moving forward too. And as we move towards the unknown, which is life, as we move towards the unknown, which is each creative project where we're not sure if it's going to work, it feels so good to have a partner in that, a partner in crime, as you're breaking rules, as you're doing the things you're not supposed to do it with somebody.
Where did you get that idea of play? Why is that important to you?
I made a movie the normal way. Like we're told many a thing, and we don't know how the world works yet, and we're dreaming, and we're looking outward, and we're looking at the paths other people go down, and we're trying to make sense of it. And what I found is when I got to this supposed destination, that it wasn't really for me. I don't know who it is for, but it wasn't right. And I got existential. I said, why am I doing this? Why am I making movies? This is the dream I've had. This is this thing that I've committed so much time and energy towards, and it's not feeling good. And I looked back inside myself, into my past, and I saw that the reason I'm doing this is because it was fun to do when I was 15 years old. And I kind of believe that's why all of us who are on these creative paths are doing it, because there was a time when it was pure and it was joyful and we felt free. And I wondered, as a professional, can I still do that? And what if I made all decisions based on what I would do if I was 15? And if that worked, then I'm so free. Then I have unlocked literally everything.
I know you went to fancy pants school, but did academia sort of steer you away from this idea of play?
I think success did, right? I think that like having a sense of play and wanting to write a play for my friends that would like thrill my friends and thrill me, that then went off Broadway and then went to Broadway, then the West End, then all the Tonys. Yep. It immediately puts you in a space where people are like, great, now you do this. Now you're Kenneth Lonergan. Now you're August Wilson. Right. Now you're Tracy Letts. Like you can only do plays that look like them in this kind of space. And like, and you also feel like, yeah, I don't want to lose this opportunity. Oh, should I write my big family drama? And again, this is no shade on family drama. I feel like anytime I mention another playwright, people are like, so you hate them? And I'm like, no.
I understand. Things happen around a dining room table, but you don't always have to write around a dining room table,
exactly,
right?
Yes. And you can write things that like look different, act different. And also you don't have to be worried about whether or not the thing you're going to make is going to make money if you're doing it for just your friends.
Yeah.
And I think that like the burden of success made me feel as though if I wanted to have the opportunity to keep working with my friends, I would have to only do things that would pay us a lot of money. I could only do things, and the more that burden sort of like compounded, the less exciting the work became for me, because it became more safe when I started thinking that way. It was like all the rough edges had to go away because I couldn't fail. And what was so great about reconnecting with Pete is that he reminded me that like, I actually like jumping out of planes without a parachute. Like, I actually think that my best work comes when I don't fear failure.
Let's listen to a little bit. Erupcja is a Polish word for eruption. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And we talked about how this eruption happens, this volcano. It keeps your main character stuck in Warsaw. Let's hear a clip that explains why. It features you and Charlie and your co-star Lena Gore as Nell. Nell speaks first.
Crazy coincidences happen.
Okay, like what?
A volcano erupts.
Excuse me, I don't think I'm following.
So the first time we met, that volcano in Iceland erupted. I was 16 and I was here on a school trip and the volcano erupted, so I got stuck here for a month. It was amazing.
Yeah, and it was so dark all the time because of all the ash in the sky.
Damn, okay.
Then we saw each other again around a year later, and that volcano in Chile erupted.
Cordon Cauy?
And then after that, it was the wolf in Ecuador and Tal in the Philippines.
So did something happen this time, or?
Etna, 2 days ago.
So you're saying you like magic?
We like to joke that we're making it happen.
What's the joke? Volcanoes kill people.
When did the central theme of Eruptions become clear to you, Pete?
I mean, the idea of the volcano came in that serendipitous way of just this connection to Warsaw and this connection to Iceland. And I knew that volcanoes is like a ripe metaphor. But because I like when movies feel alive. And life is the unknown. It is moving towards the unknown. These are all the reasons why I'm like, okay, starting production where we don't know how it's going to end, because this is like method filmmaking. We are living, we are breathing, and so is the film. And so as we're moving forward through it, we are ready for things to make sense when it's ready for it to make sense. Edna erupted during the shoot. It was the second day of shooting, and we suddenly got an alert on our phones that Edna had erupted. That's why Edna erupts in the movie.
Yeah.
And so we're like, this is magical. This is amazing.
That's amazing.
We
thought
use
we thought we had to use like visual effects or something. I mean, the movie is very small, but we were like, we'll figure it out. We'll beg, borrow, and steal until we can make a volcano. And then
it erupted.
And then we got these gifts from the movie gods. And those come in big and small ways constantly.
Oh, it's giving me the chills when you talk about that.
And then I don't even want to like spoil the end, but
don't spoil the
like,
end.
but like discoveries keep happening by sort of like deciding to go, deciding to get together, deciding to show up as presently as possible. Constantly, there are gifts from the gods.
yeah, I mean, I think like I don't. One thing that isn't spoiling anything about the movie, but does talk about how like the engine of this movie is magic, is coincidence, surprise, and that can only happen if you're open to it. Has to be like you telling the story of why we have a narrator.
So you haven't heard it in either of the clips so far, but we made this movie in Warsaw. This movie is Polish. Part of the excitement to me was to make a foreign film, to make a movie that's in another language. I was just curious about that experiment. And so as we were making the movie and we get to post-production, I'm still discovering, I'm still moving towards the unknown, trying to help the movie reach its final form. Eventually there becomes this idea to add a voiceover, sort of like a very French New Wave thing, kind of like Jules and Jim. And so that voiceover became an idea to explore, and so I started writing voiceover, and I would write in English, and I would use Google Translate to put it into Polish, and I would use the Polish Google Translate voice as the temp throughout this movie, and that version is what we actually sent to the Toronto International Film Festival when we submitted it, and that's what they first programmed. But then we're still needing to replace that voice. Like, we want to have a human be the voice, and so it became this little bit of a journey to find who that should be. First, we found this Polish actor who did a wonderful job and had a beautiful voice, but it was almost too beautiful in a way. It was too correct, too polished. Then we used the interpreter who works at the American Film Festival, which is this wonderful film festival in Poland, which is what first brought me there. Yeah. And I've gone there 5 years in a row, and every time Tomek is my interpreter. But his voice again wasn't quite right. So then we went back to our drawing board, and me and the other producers are like, who else do we know that's Polish? And one of our producers, Luke, has a friend who's Polish who has a stepdad. And his stepdad lives in Poland, and we asked the stepdad to record the voiceover. He just records it on his phone, he sends it over, and to me it's perfect. I love this voice. This is exactly the right texture. I show it to our Polish collaborators. They tell me it sounds like this thing called a lector, which is when films are brought into Poland to do the dub, they don't have a bunch of different actors do all the different characters. They just have this one man who just says all the characters' lines over top the whole movie. And this is this thing that they all grew up on. And so I got excited that this idea that I had stumbled across also felt connected to the Polish culture. And so we do that voiceover, and we finalize the film, and it feels great. And we finally go to Poland in November to premiere the film to Polish audiences, and I finally get to meet the stepdad. He comes to the screening. He's this lovely man named Jacek. He's in his 60s, I think, and he comes and introduces himself, and he's so sweet. And he tells me that 20 years ago he had a stroke. And he lost his ability to speak. And it's taken him all this time to regain his voice.
We'll discuss that after the show in just a moment. We only have about a minute left. Jeremy, how would you describe this experience working with Pete, writing this script, and then the final production?
I mean, it's been one of the great privileges of my life to rediscover play with Pete. I think that to have the chance to remember at 35 years old that I'm not put on this earth to just completely enrich myself by what I do, but also to enrich myself with material, right? But to enrich myself with experience is a thing that I'm happy I remembered now and didn't have to find at 70, right? This has been one of the richest I've ever felt as a young artist.
That was director Peter O's and actor and co-writer Jeremy O. Harris. The film is called Erupcja. Coming up, Rashida Jones and Will McCormick discuss their new film, The Invite, about a struggling couple who have invited their neighbors for a dinner party and more. This is all of it.